Okay, and welcome back to a Microsoft gaming discussion on their current, situation in the home console market and more. Basically, be mainly about that topic. I have my buddy Old Dirty with me. How's it going, Old Dirty?
What's going on, Dave? What's up, YouTube?
Thank you for joining another podcast. But pretty much this is going to be like, how we did the Sony one and we did the first one with Nintendo. The last one we did with Sony, and then prior to that we did Nintendo. Basically just talking about Microsoft and what their current position in the gaming industry is, like the home console market. I don't really venture too much into handhelds because really Nintendo just dominates that market, and I don't really play handhelds. I was thinking about getting a Vita, but the more I think about it, the less I want to get one because it's just don't look like the Vita's doing too well. But you have a Vita and you like it. I mean, some people like the Vita, some people don't. But I look at overall support of the Vita, and it don't look like Sony really, makes any kind of notice that device is even there, like any type of advertisement for it. Same thing with Nintendo, how they did the Wii U. So that's why I kind of avoid it. I think the Vita's on, it could be around for another year or two, but I don't know. Sometimes I look at it and I don't even think it's going to be around there, but that's my opinion. Everybody has their own. Pretty much Microsoft. If you had to if you think of Microsoft right now in the home console market, Old Dirty, where are you at with Microsoft in the home console market? Or does it work for you? Do you like where they're at, or do you think they could do better? Or
I mean, what they're at now, you know what I'm saying? They're in second place. They're getting better, they're doing better. I mean, every time you hear news, it's always something that the Xbox is going to be doing or is doing, game wise or feature or update wise and all this. So, it's just going to get, I guess it's just going to get better, you know what I'm saying, for what, Microsoft is doing, because they always updating the console. So, I mean, I guess that's pretty cool. You can update your console like that, It's not the Xbox One, you know what I'm saying, a year and a half ago. It's a totally different one.
Okay. Yeah, basically right now where Microsoft is, and you look back at other generations, they're not in the best position, but I don't think they're in the worst position, because really, in my opinion, the people in the worst position in the home console market is Nintendo. I think Microsoft will never. I don't think they're going to get ahead of the PS4 with Sony, but I think they're going to earn their second place position. They're not just going to be given to it, by default because of how bad Nintendo is doing in the home console market. I think they're going to definitely earn it. And if you looked at the past, this year's past Gamescom, that was an extraordinary show. I think if they would have brought that show to E3, they would have won it, in my opinion. Would you agree on that?
Yeah, I think so. But I think what Microsoft was doing, it was like, okay, we're going to bring, this, and this to E3. But Gamescom, they knew they was going to really bring it. And I think why they held back is because I guess they knew that Sony wasn't going to be at Gamescom. So they was like, you know what? Let's make Gamescom about us again. If we the only ones going to be there, let's make that our E3. They brought some stuff to E3 that they showed, was okay. It was cool. Not saying that they had a bad E3. But this Gamescom, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just, they just kicked the door open and said, look, okay, here's what we got. We got exclusives, you know what I'm saying? And we got this, we got that, we got games, you know what I'm saying? We got a whole fucking lineup for basically 2016, you know what I'm saying? From now to 2016. So you can't say they don't have any games or they don't have any exclusive, because every time a video came up, that's all you heard the dude say, exclusive to Xbox One. That's all you kept hearing. So,
and you know how YouTube is, you can't count that as an exclusive. Like, because if it's coming to PC, it's not exclusive. So if I was to look at Street Fighter 5 and it being exclusive to the PS4, but it's also on PC, I guess that's not exclusive, right? Going by the rules, right?
Yes, I guess so. I don't know, man. Like I don't know who write the books, who write the rules. What the hell is the book so I can read it? You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's exclusive to the console. You know what I'm saying? If it's on PC, it's on PC, but it's exclusive to whichever console. No matter if it's Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft, it's just that console. It's on nothing else. If you want to say, "Oh no, it's not exclusive because it's on PC," that's cool. It's on PC, but it ain't on no other console but Microsoft. So hey, it's exclusive to Microsoft, or it's exclusive to Sony.
Yeah, I look at it your way, kind of. I'm a console gamer, so for me to get, Dead Rising 3, if I want to play that, I got to get it on, the Xbox One. Same thing with, games like, the one that they showed, Scalebound. That's going to be on Xbox One. I'm not sure if that's going to PC. I think it is eventually. But, there's this little rule here I noticed. If it's going to PC, the game don't count. One thing they got to understand, I'm a console gamer. I don't game on PC. I like console games. So I can't go to the PS4 to play Scalebound. I have to go to the Xbox One. Same thing with Street Fighter. Street Fighter 5, I can't play it on the Xbox One. I got to go to the PS4. But if I had a PC, I guess I could play it on the PC, and then I guess the game's irrelevant otherwise because it's on PC. It seems like they make it like if a game's going to PC, it's irrelevant, like, oh, we get that anywhere, well, you can't get it on a PS4, for example, like Dead Rising 3, if that's, it's on the Xbox One and, PC, but you can't get it on the PS4, I don't know. I don't understand this whole exclusive thing of how they make the little rule book. It's kind of weird. But for me, overall, the Xbox One, I actually do enjoy it. It's got games that, Sony doesn't have, and, the PS4's got games the Xbox One don't have. I enjoy both my consoles. I do like the PS4 a little bit more, but I actually am enjoying the Xbox One. I have to be honest. I can't get Killer Instinct, season 1 or 2 on the PS4,
Right.
So basically, with their current situation, in the home console market, with Sony with this huge lead of 25.3 million units, I believe it is. I think Microsoft is basically with the Xbox One a little bit over 13 million. I'm going by VG charts. I could be wrong. I don't know. Do you think it's possible that Microsoft can somewhat catch up, or do you see them catching up to Sony, or actually going past Sony? What's your thoughts?
I don't think they actually like pass up Sony. In order for them to pass up Sony, they would have to do some drastic stuff. Like get just some type of exclusive deals and stuff like that. In order for the Xbox, to pass them up. I do believe like near the end of this generation that they will probably be like neck and neck. Just like with the 360 and PS3. You know how the Xbox One took off. I mean the 360 took off, and the PS3 was struggling for sales, struggling for games, but out of this whole 8-9 year generation of last generation, Sony caught up with Microsoft. Didn't they like pass them at one point during the whole last generation? And then, but Microsoft came back, you know what I'm saying? So the PlayStation 3 is like right behind the Xbox 360. The PS3 is right behind it now, you know what I'm saying? And it struggled, you know what I'm saying, for like 2 years or 2.5 years on PlayStation 3. But look at it now, you know what I'm saying? We're talking about 8-9 years later, and they either right behind it. And I ain't talking about a few million either. They right behind the 360. So I mean, anything can happen with this generation. Anything can happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's anything's possible. I don't think they'll catch up to the PS4. The PS4 does have a pretty big lead on them. The PS4 is selling very well. It's already if you go to the PS2, the best-selling console of all time, the PS4 has caught its sales in 2 years, and it took to where it's at now. The PS4 it took the PS2 two years and 8 months, I believe, and the PS4 did that in 2 years. That's pretty damn impressive. And the PS4 sales just don't look like they're stopping. So with this whole thing with Microsoft, what's going on, and Sony's going after exclusive third party games, and they're really pushing exclusive content, kind of how Microsoft did with the Call of Duty, DLC. Now, Sony has that. They're pretty much taking everything that Microsoft did and they're using it to their advantage. And then you have Microsoft now with Phil Spencer. One of his latest things, he said he's going after more first party. They're dropping the whole third party stuff. Now, does that mean he's dropping third party exclusives, or like what's the deal with that? Like I took it like the third party exclusive content.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Because I don't think they're dropping third party exclusive. I think it's third party exclusive content. Like the whole Destiny stuff that PS4 is doing. What they've done with the DLC, the Call of Duty now that's on there. Do you think that's I think what Microsoft is doing is a great thing. I think also what Sony's doing is a great thing. But in the long run, it could, if this keeps working for them, they're not going to go after so much first party as they used to. I think they're going to focus more on third party exclusive content, use it to their advantage, and make these games look like fool the casuals and make them think that how they made a lot of people think Batman was a exclusive game, Arkham Knight, to the PS4, which really it's on every console except the Wii U, of next generation consoles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, what were you gonna say?
I say, yeah, that's one thing I have to give to Sony. You know what I'm saying? They they promoted the PS4. They showed games that we knew was on the Xbox One, but they had, I guess, a deal with with the Batman to make it look like it was exclusive to the PlayStation 4. You know what I'm saying? When you seen the commercials, it was PlayStation 4. So anybody would get that misconception that it's like, oh man, the new Batman game, like, oh, it's only on PlayStation 4. Well, down the line, I'm gonna have to get a PS4 so I can play that Batman, not realizing, yeah, it's also on, the Xbox One as well, but it wasn't promoted that way, So I got to give it to Microsoft. The things that they was doing with the PlayStation 4 when it launched, they was doing everything correct. You know what I'm saying, to make it sell. I ain't mad at them.
Mm-hmm. And thank you, Slightly Based One Piece fan. He said he just bought an Xbox One today. Thank you for watching, buddy. And Pharrell, I can't say your name, man. I guess Par, I'll call you Par. PS3 passed the 360 by a lot, he said. I don't know console sales of last generation offhand on top. I thought they were like neck and neck, but maybe the PS3 did pass it. I don't know. Do you know much about that, Old Dirty? The whole console sales of last generation still? I don't really follow that anymore.
Well, I don't know the exact sales from the last generation, but I knew at a certain point that the PS3 had caught up, and I want to say it had surpassed the 360 at one point, but then the 360 gained momentum back. So that's why I was saying, like, now I think they like neck and neck. If the 360
the PlayStation 3 is outselling this is by VG charts, and VG charts is a little, have been fully updated lately. Like, I've noticed VG charts been kind of slacking on updating their shit. But going by what they have currently, the PlayStation 3 sold 85.77 million units sold. with the 360 selling 84.90 million units sold. If somebody can tell me a better chart to look at than VG charts, I'll be more to go over that. But yeah, that's what I'm getting. So that's why I thought too. The PS3 is outselling the Xbox 360. I knew they were neck and neck for a while, but I've heard that recently the PS3 is selling a lot more. PS3 is doing very good, and that's probably why they're still keeping those consoles going, the 360 and PS3, because they're getting so many sales now.
And that's why I said like with PlayStation doing so well, 24 million, I look at it as last generation where Xbox was actually dominating, and the PlayStation 3 was they were struggling. But look at it now, it's like they surpassed the 360 when the 360 was just dominating. I mean the 360 was what, like 3-1.
Mm-hmm. No, 360 was doing great.
Yeah.
For me, last generation, I loved the 360, from the beginning of the generation to about half, and then the PS3 really started taking off, around the halfway point. That's when it got really good, the PS3. It took a while, and that could be the same situation, just how everything's going now. Like, if you look at the PS4 just dominating, I think the Xbox One, it might take, maybe a year or more. It might take a little bit more to get going. Once it gets going, it might, this power of the cloud, that they're saying. I heard Next Gen 720 talking about today, going over the whole power of the cloud, how it's going to, really help Crackdown 3's graphics. And, we all don't know until we see it. They did, to be fair, they said that the cloud was going to do stuff to Titanfall that it never did. So let's see what it does for Crackdown 3. But that's all just stuff. It's like with the Wii U. Remember they said, oh, we don't know the power of the Wii U. We don't know what's under the hood. And then come to find out the thing ain't much more powerful than 360 and the PS3. But basically, right now with Microsoft, do you think this whole thing, what they're going to be doing, like what Phil Spencer came out and pretty much said that they're going to go after more first-party exclusives? Because in my opinion, that's all they could do to get to catch up with Sony, or come close to catching up, or somewhere catch up with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got to go after exclusives. That's the only thing they could do. What do you think?
Yeah, I would think Microsoft would have to try to do exclusive wise for their first parties, because when you look at PlayStation 3, I mean that's what PlayStation 3 had. They was known for they IPs, you know what I'm saying? They new IPs that they was just pumping out for the PS3. You know what I'm saying? They put out, some fairly decent, new IP first party. So I guess that's what Microsoft is trying to do now. Because really Microsoft don't really have too many exclusive. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, they have what, Gears of War, Forza, Fable, Killer Instinct, and that's all I can think of. You know what I'm saying? But if they trying to get those first party exclusive, like the PS3 did, then yeah. If they pump out some good ones, yeah, I can see the Xbox getting pulled off the shelf a little bit more.
It's what they got to do. They have really no other options. I think they have to secure the first party, because that's what's going to get people over to your platform, getting games that you cannot get anywhere else. And I'm not talking about it when it goes to PC. They need to start securing more games, I think, for the hardcore audience, like exclusive only. Just like, with Wii U, how Bayonetta 2 is exclusive only to the Wii U. To me, does it matter if it goes to PC? No, but to a lot of these people here on YouTube and, the hardcore gamer, they want exclusives, So I think Microsoft does have to go after that. That's what they're doing. I'm hoping that's what they're doing, Phil Spencer. Oh, and shout out to Melly814. Thank you for watching the podcast, buddy. I appreciate it. And Tech Rev from Geek Essentials, thank you for watching the podcast. I appreciate it. Recently, Phil Spencer came out, and he addressed Sony's third-party exclusives. And it says head of Xbox Phil Spencer has spoken out to address Sony's current focus on securing third-party exclusives for the PlayStation 4. According to Phil Spencer, the PlayStation's manufacturer isn't locking down deals for games like Street Fighter 5 because of PS4 sales lead over the Xbox One. Note, these exclusive partnerships are being made simply because Sony is paying for them. So they don't gobble the deals up, they buy them. Spencer told GameSpot, I read the same things you do, and I have some people think it's somehow less expensive to go third-party exclusives. If you have a bigger market share, I can tell you it has nothing to do with market share. When you go into a deal with a third party, that third party has its own view of the global market and the value of it, and they should think about their assets and how valuable they are, just like anyone would. They are selling their goods, he added. Earlier this week, Microsoft had a press conference at Games, and that's pretty much the article. What's your thoughts about that? Do you think that what do you think about Phil Spencer going on about the whole Sony with third-party exclusives?
Well, I mean, basically, Sony just took a look at Microsoft and what they did last generation. Microsoft was doing the same thing last generation. They was trying to get the exclusive contents for third-party games, and time exclusive wise for certain games and all that. So I mean, like I said, Sony Sony's in the position that they in now because of what they did. And they took a step back and looked and see what Microsoft was doing. They said, you know what, we gonna play the exact same game. Because I remember the 360 was doing the exact same thing when it came to games. USC was now for Xbox 360. And that's what you thought it was for, just the Xbox 360. But if you didn't know that, but we knew it was on the other console. But most gamers that don't follow gaming like that, they would think it was just on the 360. So I mean, Sony doing the same thing Microsoft did last generation, and that's why they in the position they in now. You know what I'm saying? Selling like hotcakes. They selling like like meth.
Yep. I mean, it's selling. The PS4, there's no doubt in that console is selling very well. But I think this whole thing with Phil Spencer, I think he's just addressing, the whole Sony's thing because he's probably been asked it a million times, and some people took it as he was taking shots at them, but I don't think so. I think if Microsoft does what they're said they'll do with the whole first party games, dropping the whole third party thing and going after more first party titles, I think that's what's going to get people over to the Xbox One. One thing people have to understand, I said this in many other videos, Microsoft has not yet dropped their bombs yet. Just like if you look at the Wii U, you got, they released Smash Brothers, they released Mario Kart 8. Those games sold well, but did they really move consoles a lot? No. One thing to be fair, Halo 5 didn't come out yet on the Xbox One, and neither did Gears of War 4. Now, if those games come out, and the console's still in a bad position and not really moving consoles, then you might have a situation on your hands, Microsoft. But those games have not came out yet. And to be fair, what's even crazier, with the PS4, those games haven't came out either yet too. Uncharted 4 has not came out. A new God of War has not came out, except the remastered. A Last of Us 2 has not came out. I mean, that's scary to see what's going to go on with the PS4 once those games come out. Both of these consoles have not really had any big games come out. The only thing I could really think of a big name game that has came out, and it would be on the PS4 sides. I'm talking about like of games we know, not like Bloodborne, that like an IP that's never been on as an exclusive on consoles. I'm talking about Killzone. That didn't really do too well. It did okay, but it didn't. I don't think Killzone moved a lot of consoles for the PS4. But we haven't seen these heavy hitters from each side yet. Only from the Wii U. We saw what that's done, and that was the Wii U's in a bad situation. That's why they're going to probably most likely do the NX. but we have not seen these heavy hitters. What do you think is going to happen when Halo 5 drops Old Dirty and Gears of War 4, games like that? Do you think it will move consoles?
Yeah, I think they will move consoles. Um, will it catch up to Microsoft? I doubt it, but I mean, when the big heavy hitters come out, the consoles are going to move off the shelf, depending on, if you the guy or the girl that's looking into buying either one of them, which one you want first. So if it's like if you looking at exclusive, you're like, oh, okay, I like Halo and what I'm saying, I like Gears of War and blah blah Skippy. And what I see that's coming out now, you might go with Microsoft. You know what I'm saying? So when that Halo come out, yeah, I believe Halo is going to move some units. You know what I'm saying, off the shelf. I do believe Gears of War is going to move some units off the shelf. But will it catch up? You know what I'm saying, to Microsoft? I don't think so. Will it surpass? I mean, will it surpass Sony or catch up with Sony? I don't think so. But it's going to move units though. Those games will move units. But like I said, but the way Sony is just selling, you know what I'm saying, it's just hard. It's going to be hard for Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
I agree. I don't think they're gonna. I think it's gonna be hard for them to catch up. They need to just focus on doing good this generation, and basically earning their second place. I don't see them catching up to Sony at this rate unless Sony somehow slows down in console sales. Then they might be able to. I don't know. It's still early in the generation still to be saying who's going to win and who's not. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's real early. It's going on 2 years. You know what I'm saying? So that's really early. And who's to know that this generation will probably go, 8, 9 years like last generation, So this 1.5 year is just too early. People are already like, oh, Sony already won. They 22 million, 24 million, they won. It's over with. Like, come on, it's only a year, going on 2 years. We still, you know what I'm saying, 6, 7 more years left.
Yeah, to be safe to say the generation barely started, and to be safe, and to be honest, that's what Moore's looking to say. Be honest, this generation started out rough. I'm talking about game wise on both platforms when it comes to like exclusive games. Like I know Sony, has some great exclusives like Bloodborne, and I like The Order. I did say that many a times. But Microsoft has some decent exclusives like Sunset Overdrive. I'm really enjoying that. I actually like that. But to be fair, there really hasn't been much on each console. It's just the beginning. We're not into the generation. We haven't seen any big games yet. Real games that I like to say that are memorable. Like when Gears of War 1 came out, man, was that game awesome. And that came out early in the 360s, in the last generation, but we haven't seen games like that yet that are just, are like, whoa, those games haven't even came yet. We're still in the beginning of the generation. I think this whole generation's it's gonna take a while to get started. I think it's gonna be like the halfway point before we start seeing some big games like that, or like, like games that were just like, man, this is what the 8th generation is all about. You agree on that?
Yeah.
With Microsoft, I didn't ask you nothing about Gamescom because you didn't join me on my Gamescom thoughts and opinions podcast. Did you think they had a good Gamescom? In my opinion, I think Gamescom was actually something to turn some things around for them. Actually show people that Microsoft is doing right. They are listening to people. I thought they brought a great show. What's your overall thoughts about Gamescom and what they did with that?
I thought they did a hell of a job. There's a lot of people doubting Microsoft, and Microsoft just, they kicked the door in and just start throwing stuff at people's face. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we got this, we got that. You know what I'm saying? People, I guess people doubted, Crackdown 3 and what's the other game with the dragons?
The Scalebound.
yeah, Scalebound and stuff like that, and they just came, blazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, this is what we got, and this is what our console can do when we update it. You know what I'm saying? Like now it's a DVR, and like I said, I think a lot of haters, you know what I'm saying, got slapped in the face because
There's no way you can hate on a conference like that. Yes, I will say they didn't bring anything new we were really expecting, like game-wise, but they showed us off stuff about games that we've been wanting to see. So I always like to see gameplay of games that I have not seen shit about, that I've heard about but haven't seen any gameplay. That Scalebound was really impressive. If you're an RPG fan of RPGs, that game, that to me, like people are looking at like Monologue Soft Sex, that game coming out for the Wii U, they would be looking forward to a game like that. That would be a reason for you to buy an Xbox One, in my opinion. Fucking Quantum Break, man, was that game impressive what they showed of that. I loved how you slow down time, and a lot of people like those like type of shooters, like cover shooters and stuff. I like that shit. That was another game I was looking forward to. Crackdown 3 with how everything's fully destructible. Now, is the power of the cloud going to do that? I don't know. You have to wait. Only time tells, basically. But what did you think about Crackdown? What was the most impressive game you saw at Gamescom?
The most, I would have to say it was what was the name of the game? With you just said it, not Scalebound, the other one.
Quantum Break.
Yeah, like what Quantum Break looked good. The gameplay wise looked fun. You know what I'm saying? It looked good. How he was, slowing down time and speeding up time, and you know what I'm saying, throwing a bubble of time around him or something like that. It was something that he was doing like with a bubble that had time, and it was. I was looking at it like, wow, like man, I cannot wait to play this. This looked awesome. And then when I seen Scalebound, it automatically reminded me of Xenoblade. Like I'm like that remind me of Xenoblade, So the Crackdown 3, it looked good. I was surprised that you can like everything is, you can tear down, buildings and stuff like that. I was like, oh, that is cool, because I think I still have Crackdown 1 and 2 if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I was just surprised with those three, especially Quantum Break.
Mm-hmm. See, one thing about the whole thing with Quantum Break that I thought was cool. I like it. Like a lot of people, I find weird on YouTube. A lot of people don't watch movies or TV shows. They're all into gaming, and that's fine, But I grew up on both. I love movies and TV shows, and I like how they're implementing I guess TV show in with this game. Like it's like going to tell a story too while you're playing the game. I think that's pretty cool. Like if you're looking forward to a game like Until Dawn, I find it very hard. You're not looking forward to a game like Quantum Break, because you're both. It's both like telling a story of something. It's very like movie like. You know what I'm saying? In certain ways, Quantum Break. I find it really weird if you like games like Heavy Rain, you wouldn't like Quantum Break. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I like how like certain gamers have their they like this game but they don't like this game because it's on that console. But damn well if Quantum Break was on the PS4, they'd be all over that shit.
They'd be all over that game like it was no tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like I hate I hate people, or I wouldn't say people. I hate gamers that do that. Just because you like this console, of your choice. Why you gotta hate on other games that come out for the other console? Like, that's dog shit right there. Now damn well if that was on PlayStation 4, you know what I'm saying, your hands would be in the air and can't wait to 2016 so you can play it and brag about it on YouTube on how we got the best exclusive, and just get credit when credit is due. You know what I'm saying? Like Microsoft did an excellent job at Gamescom. So I applaud them and tip my hat off because they slapped a lot of Sony fanboys. They smacked the shit out of them. I'm like, okay, keep saying we don't got games and we don't got this and we can't do that. Now what?
Hmm. Yeah, it's just the console wars are for fanboys. People that can't afford. I'm not making fun of people that can't afford anything. But it's for people that can't afford both consoles. Every generation, I have had both a Microsoft platform and a Sony platform, and usually Nintendo. Last generation, I did not want the Wii. In this generation, I had the Wii U, but I got rid of it. Nintendo's a different situation from what they used to be for me, but usually every company I have their product of the big three. When Sega was in it, Sega was another one though. I had the Sega Genesis and the Dreamcast. I usually always had two consoles. That's what I'm trying to make a point of. If you are a person that just is on one console and you have a legitimate reason why you don't want to play the other ones, like you really hate the company for some reason, I find more people just hating on companies just because all they can get is one console. Whether they're going to be Sony cheerleaders or Microsoft cheerleaders, why not be both and enjoy the best of both worlds? You know what I'm saying? That's just my take of it.
Well, see, they don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? They rather just sit and make videos and go in the comment sections, and just say stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? I just laugh at them. You know what I'm
Like
saying? Like, you sitting on
I'm getting a lot of hate lately for the Xbox One for getting that, and I don't know whether to take some people serious or that they're just joking. But it's not like I'm not supporting Sony no more just because I have an Xbox One. It just means I have both consoles. I told people, I have literally told people this and told people this over and over in my videos. Last two generations, I was a Microsoft gamer. To be fair though, like I said in other videos, last generation I had both platforms, the PS3 and the Xbox 360. But I gamed on the 360 half of the generation in the beginning, and the other half was more of the PS3. So last generation was like a split, but the generation before that, it was the Xbox, the original Xbox, all day long. I wasn't big on PlayStation 2. Now go back to PS1, that was me. So to be fair, I was with Microsoft the past two generations. And it's funny that when I get the Xbox One, all people, they're hating on me. Not real bad, but there's certain ones that, you could tell are bothered by it. But how can you be bothered by somebody else's purchase? you know?
I have no idea why people get upset because you want to buy a second or a third console. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, a gamer wants to play everything. And I call myself a gamer. I don't call myself a hardcore gamer. I'm just a straight up gamer. And I want to play everything that looks good to me. If the game looks fun and it's not on Sony, then guess what? I'm going to buy a Microsoft. You know what I'm saying? If it's not on if that game is not on Microsoft or Sony, guess what? I'm going to get me a Nintendo because I'm a gamer. That's what I do. That's my hobby. I enjoy playing different types of games, different genres of games. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here and deprive myself of not playing, Scalebound. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to deprive myself of not playing Xenoblade. You know what I'm saying? Like that's stupid. And if you can't afford it, you know what I'm saying? I can understand that. But just to just to be a fanboy, man, to one console, you know what I'm saying? It's just ridiculous because you cannot tell me that there's nothing on Microsoft or Nintendo that you don't want to play. Don't tell me that Nintendo they kitty games. You can't tell me anything that Nintendo got in they vault that you don't want to play. You know what I'm saying? Like that's bullshit. I don't care if you think the game look kitty or you think it's kitty. It's something that Nintendo has you want to play. There's something that Microsoft first party you want to play. The same thing with Sony. So yeah, I don't go with that with people like, oh no, I don't like none of those games. On all them games, dog shit. Nah, you just ain't no gamer, or like I said, you just can't afford. You know what I'm saying? A second or third console.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think console wars are for fanboys. My opinion, I think there's going to be on each console some things that everybody's going to want to play. I think give it time, and both consoles will have a majority of good games. It's going to just take a little time. Right now, they have good games. Sunset Overdrive is a great game.
Yeah.
That is not on the PS4. The Order is a great game that is not on the Xbox One. Bloodborne, is a great game that is on the PS4 but not the Xbox One. And another underrated game, in my opinion, is Dead Rising 3. That is on the Xbox One. That's not on the PS4. Same thing with Forza Horizon 2. Games I've been playing lately, I find fantastic. All the games I named are on different platforms. Reasons to buy one or the other. Now, when it comes to third party, it is safe to say a majority of these games, they don't really look much different. Would you say that? So I see the difference, but not much of a difference. What's your thoughts, Old Dirty, on that?
I only seen maybe one or two games compared to the PS3 and Xbox. The PS4 and Xbox One, and I can tell you, I really didn't see a big major difference where it was like, oh yeah, like the Xbox One is lacking, in power. No, I didn't see it. I seen NBA 2K15. Both of them run smooth and looks good. I don't know what native is in. I don't know if it's 900p or 1080p, but it looks good on both consoles. I seen Call of Duty. I don't know what resolution it is on the Xbox One or PS4, but both of them looks good. No frame rate issues. Whatever frame per second that they supposed to be in, they moving well. So I don't think we'll really see a big, like I said before, I don't think we'll see a big major difference between 900 and 1080p. I really don't think you are.
This Dead Rising 3 is on PC as well, but what you gotta understand, if you're a console gamer, majority of the time you don't own a PC, so to game on Dead Rising 3, you'd have to go to Microsoft, which is the Xbox One. Like I said earlier in the podcast, just because Street Fighter 5 is on the PC, that don't mean I'm going to go get the PC, go buy a PC, just play Street Fighter 5 and have a PS4 sitting there. And most likely the PS4 version, I'm sure a lot of people are going to. What do you think they would pick, PC or the for Street Fighter 5, Old Dirty? Do you think they go lean towards the PC or the PS4?
I'm sorry.
What for the Street Fighter 5? What do you think will sell more, the PC version of Street Fighter 5 or the PS4 version?
Probably the PS4 version.
That's what I would say, but I don't know. I don't game on PC. That's another thing. I don't follow PC.
Yeah, that's why I say PlayStation, because I don't game on PC and I don't really know too many people, outside of YouTube. I know that game on PC. My closest friends game on consoles just like me. So
all my friends that are playing these games that are going to PC, and consoles, they're going to go to the console version of it, Which I see what Microsoft's doing. They're making both their money, they're going to get money either way on the PC or they're going to get it on the Xbox One. It helps their division either way,
Mm-hmm.
I noticed on YouTube, like we said earlier, if a game's going to the PC, the game's somehow irrelevant or something. Like people aren't going to play it on consoles. I don't know. And I just find that really strange. I don't know. When it's like saying, would you want to play the Batman version of PC right now, or would you rather play the console version? Just saying.
Right.
But yeah, basically that whole thing to me is irrelevant. What I think is cool with the PC and the consoles, I like how a majority of Xbox games are going to be, you're going to be able to play cross-platform. The Microsoft, the Xbox One and the PC, you're going to be able to play, people on the PC. I think that's kind of cool. I know Sony's doing it with games like Rocket League, but I see it more on the Xbox One. But going back to the whole difference in graphics, like the whole Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain, I just saw, what the frame rate and graphic resolution is going to be. It's going to be 900p upscaled to 1080p for the Xbox One version, 60 frames per second, and PS4 is 1080p, 60 frames per second. So it's basically the same, you know. But it's just right there. I'd say go wherever your friends are, because if your friends are on the PS4 or the Xbox One, say they're on the PS4. That's where you'll be playing multiplayer. It basically comes down to where are your friends going to be, who's going to have the console, who's going to have Metal Gear on what console. That's basically, if you have both consoles, what to choose on that. I don't think each version is going to look much different, in my opinion. What's your thoughts on that, Old Dirty?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Me and you have both consoles. So yeah, you're gonna go where your friends are. Majority of your friends is gonna be. If they're gonna have it, if majority of your friends have the PlayStation 4 and they say they're gonna get it for the PlayStation 4, then yeah, you want to get it for the PlayStation 4. Like NBA 2K16, like I'm getting that for the Xbox One now. I have 14 and 15 for the PlayStation 4, but I don't have too many friends that have a PlayStation 4 and play that game. You know what I'm saying? My friends that play it, they own, Xbox One. So now I'm gonna get, NBA 2K16 for the Xbox One. Because my friends over there, they have the one and they're actually playing the game. So I know more people over there
So
that's playing the game.
it basically boils down to where your friends are playing.
Yeah.
So that's basically a third party. For me, I look at it like this. If Sony has a version of a game that has more exclusive content, I'm going to go to that version of the third party, because basically they both look the same. But Xbox One, what I notice they're doing now is they're giving you games of last generation, because they have their consoles backwards compatible. So when you buy Rainbow Six Siege, you get Vegas 1 and 2, something that Sony's not doing. So that's a damn given what version I'm getting on that game. I'm getting it on the Xbox One. I get 2 games with it. And that's something that I think is going to help the Microsoft, the Xbox One in, a big way. Would you agree?
Yeah. I mean, with Microsoft going backwards compatible, yeah. And then depending on the certain game that you buy, they giving you last generation's sequel, like Fallout 4. You're getting Fallout 3 with it if you get it for the Xbox One, and the PS4 is not doing that. So I mean, most people probably wouldn't care. Be like, oh, I don't care about that. That's last generation. I'm not going to play that and blah blah Skippy. It don't matter. I mean, Microsoft is doing what they got to do. You know what I'm saying, to win the fans over. You're going to do what you got to do. And most people that still playing on last generation consoles, they looking at this now. They're like, oh, wait a minute. I can still play, because people are still playing Rainbow Six Vegas 2 online to this day. Like my nephew still play that. Even though he got a PlayStation 4, he still play that on the 360. So people are still playing Rainbow Six Vegas 2. So that's cool. They giving us 1 and 2, because I beat both of those games, and I would love to go back to them again. So for Microsoft to do that, that's pretty cool. And then I hear they supposed to be giving us when you buy the ultimate edition of Gears of War,
A complete series of Gears of War. I mean,
yeah.
Like, who the hell would want that? You get the fucking complete series of, when you buy Gears of War Ultimate, you get all the Gears of War when that backwards capability comes in November. You get it all. That's a deal for $40. Sony ain't doing shit like that.
Yeah. So
now somebody said in the comment section this he says, what about Activision, Konami, and Rockstar not being on the list of supporters for the Xbox One's compatibility, backwards capability? It's kind of like the same thing with the share feature on the PS4. There's a lot of people that don't use that share feature. You don't let you share games. I'm sure there's going to be people, companies that's not going to let you use the backwards capability on the Xbox One. But Activision, Konami, and Rockstar, yeah, they're all great games. I'd love to, if that is true, that you can't play like games like Red Dead Redemption, all that. That does suck, but there's still a lot of games coming. Like, what's your thoughts on those three companies not doing the backwards compatible thing with the Xbox One?
I mean, they probably not with it right now, but who's to say, down the line, they may change their mind, for whatever reason they have now of not to do it. I don't understand, but like I said, down the line, one of them or maybe all of them would change their mind. You know what I'm saying? Of, getting into the backwards compatible. I don't know why they wouldn't. It wouldn't. It's not like it hurt any sales or anything of their games, But who knows?
Well, another thing I want to address too, while we're talking about this whole backwards capability thing, that whole thing that was going on with I saw where they had put out like an advertisement of the backwards capability. I believe it was on Game Informer or something, maybe their website, where they showed. You know what I'm talking about the games, and they had duplicates of the games, and there was somebody that was going on about why is there duplicates of the same game. That's just a fucking advertisement. Have you ever not seen an advertisement where they had showed duplicates of something and you've seen the same thing? It's all it is an advertisement. Don't mean that doesn't mean that's how many games are coming. It's just a fucking advertisement. It's just duplicates. This is an advertisement. That's all.
Yeah, that. You know what, man? Like, people really be reaching for shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like it wasn't Microsoft was trying to fool anybody. You know what I'm saying? Just like you said, we've seen it before in different advertisements. You know what I'm saying? No matter what it was, all they was doing was just making, everything like spin around. And if you listen to what Phil was saying, he was saying that this November, this holiday, there would be, I think he said 100 or well over 100 titles that will be backwards compatible, and then hundreds more to come. So that's why you see that little the boxes or the covers, spinning around. You know what I'm saying? And it was just duplicates. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's gonna take every freaking game of the 360, to make this. You're just gonna put a handful in there and just render it and just let it spin and do whatever to make it look, multiplied, to make it do what you want it to do, to spin around in a circle. But people reaching for stuff and looking for unnecessary things to I don't know, to cry about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't see nothing wrong with it. It's been done plenty of times in advertising. So I didn't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, I just think that's just all that was an advertisement. It has duplicates. There's other advertisements out in the world that has done things like that. It don't mean that's all the games that are coming for the backwards, the Xbox One's backwards capability, being backwards compatible. It's not just because they use the same games, that's it. That was the most stupidest shit I've ever heard when, somebody showed that video lately. But it's just normal people picking at the Xbox One, it's the same old thing. Another thing I want to go back to. Now, with Sony, basically going after third-party exclusive stuff and, like exclusive deals, if Sony was to keep doing that, is that a bad thing for the gamers in the long run? You know what I'm saying? Like them not, like how Microsoft says they're going to go after first-party, exclusives. If Sony keeps doing well with this whole third-party, exclusive content deals and all that, do you think eventually that might be a bad thing where they don't go after the first-party AAA titles anymore? They're just going to ride on exclusive content, kind of how they're selling, Batman, they bundle it with the Xbox or the PS4, and they're doing great doing that. I understand it's a great thing for Sony for marketing-wise, but in the long run, will the consumers lose? What do you think, Old Dirty?
I think Ooh, for what Microsoft, I mean, for what Sony is doing, with third party, it's cool, and I understand what they're doing, but you're gonna need those exclusive first party games. You're gonna need those exclusive. And the PS3 did it well, but you know, Sony said that it wasn't going to focus on too many first party exclusives. They said this, and I'm trying to figure out like
That was with the,
why would they do that? I guess they lost.
wait, are you talking about with the Vita or?
No, with the PlayStation 4. Because remember with the PlayStation 3, like Sony was pumping out a lot of, first party titles. You know what I'm saying? They was coming up with new IPs and stuff like that, and they was saying like with the PS4, they're not gonna do that. So I guess they focusing more on third party exclusive or
Yeah.
content. And it looked
Okay, now
like Microsoft is actually getting away from the third party content and exclusive to get those, first party exclusive deals.
hmm
To I guess, to get people, to come over, to the one, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, I think in the long run, if they keep doing that, the consumer is going to lose out. I want to see first party from both companies, but I do want to see I like third party exclusives, like because if you go back to like consoles like the N64, that had a lot of great third party exclusives. That was something that I was hoping the Wii U was going to do eventually, but it never did. But third party exclusives are good. But what I'm noticing with Sony, they're going after like the whole Call of Duty DLC. And to be fair, a lot of people that was on this, PS4 and didn't have an Xbox One, if they like now they're cheering, oh, exclusive Call of Duty DLC. Well, if you cared about it that much, you would have owned an Xbox One when Advanced Warfare came out, or Call of Duty Ghost. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, what I don't understand with the Call of Duty, the maps, like I don't. I'm a fan of Call of Duty, but I just don't get these. Oh shit! Microsoft is getting the maps 30 days early. It's 30 days. Like you mean tell me Microsoft and Sony's gonna spend millions of dollars just to have the maps for 30 days first? Like to me, it's not that serious as a gamer. If I only had one console, say I did not have the Xbox One, I just had the PlayStation 4. No,
Mm-hmm.
just say I had the Xbox One and not the PlayStation 4. And Microsoft and Sony has the exclusive for all the Call of Duty games to get the maps first for 30 days. It wouldn't matter to me because I'm like, okay, in 30 days I'll be getting the maps. Within that 30 days, I could be playing another game that just came out or finishing up another game that I'm playing. You know what I'm saying? I never got why Microsoft did that last generation and Sony is doing it this generation. I'm like, it's freaking maps. Ain't like it's the game. It's maps. Like people
Well,
are really that hyped up for maps to get it 30 days first?
well,
I don't get that.
to be fair, I will say this: I had friends that all they played was Call of Duty. That's it. There wasn't nothing else. There's friends that I had that all they played was games like Gears of War. That's it. They love the multiplayer. To be fair, games like FIFA, Madden. Trying to think of some other ones that like NBA 2K. So they usually go to where the exclusive stuff comes out first. They're ones that do that, but to the majority of gamers, do they give a shit if the exclusive DLC comes out first? No, because most of us on the PS4 that like Call of Duty would have been on the Xbox One with Advanced Warfare and Call of Duty Ghost. I think it's funny. Some of these people that are cheering that up are the ones that were on the PS4 when the Xbox One had it. They would have had an Xbox One for that. Now they're making such a big deal about it. Exclusive content to me is not a big deal. But if I do have a PS4 and exclusive content is going to that copy, most likely I'll get Call of Duty on the PS4 now. I won't get it on my Xbox One. Just saying. But is it that big of a deal to me? If it was, I would have had Xbox One earlier for Call of Duty. Just saying. This says back with the PS3 when Sony tossed all the third party away, but almost killed the PS3. And after Sony fired so many workers and started making deals with third party again, that saved the PS3 from doom. Yeah, that's true. I mean, then this said I stopped playing Call of Duty years ago. I play Modern Warfare, but dropped it as soon as I realized the mess that it was going to become. Okay. Yeah, Call of Duty, just in general, a lot of people are making a big deal about this Black Ops 3, but the more I look at this Black Ops 3, the more I'm seeing like Advanced Warfare. I just get that feel from it. So I don't get Black Ops 2 from it. I get, that whole Advanced Warfare, and I don't mind Advanced Warfare, but I would love just the regular old Black Ops, like just how they had it on Black Ops 2. Now the zombies does look cool, but Call of Duty, in my opinion, is a slowly dying franchise. It's gonna always be around, I think, for a long time, but it's gonna slowly fade out more and more. I don't think Call of Duty will ever get back to where it once was. In my opinion, but Call of Duty's still on, it's still a big game, don't get me wrong, but I think it's a slowly dying franchise. Would you agree, Old Dirty, on that?
Yeah, I could agree with that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Somebody says, I don't know how I survived 10 years on the 360 with zero interest in any of its exclusives except Fable. Well, with the 360, it had the better third party. But see, this generation, third party, it's very similar. I don't think third party is that much of a difference of how it was last generation, what it looks like on each console. Like when you were on the 360 and you're looking at the PS3 on a lot of third party games, I would say the 360 had the better third party, and it was noticeable. Would you agree, Old Dirty?
Yeah. Like I know, like at the beginning of the generation between the two, third party games just actually ran and looked better on the 360. I guess until the third party actually, fully optimized the PlayStation 3, then the game started to get better, run better and look better, but at the beginning, yeah, you could actually see a difference in the games, even frame rate,
Skyrim was a mess on the PS3, I believe, but the 360 it wasn't that bad. That's from what I've heard. I played Skyrim on what I did play it, but I played it on the 360. I wasn't big into Skyrim, but most people had the PS3 version was garbage. It didn't work half the time. It was like all real bad. I remember that. A lot of my friends that had got it for the PS3 and people that had it on 360. But this generation, to be fair, I looked at, like, for example, I had Assassin's Creed Black Flag on the PS4, and then I just looked at it on the Xbox One. I didn't see much of a difference. You can see a difference, but it's not real noticeable. I think the thing that's going to separate the third party will be the exclusive content. The exclusive content on what version? Like I said, Rainbow Six, and getting 2 free games, Vegas 1 and 2, that's a given. I'm going to get it on the Xbox One. But when you look at games on PlayStation 4 and Call of Duty that you are getting exclusive DLC first, that's a given if you have both consoles. Is it going to matter if like I said, if I didn't have an Xbox One and the Xbox One had the exclusive content for Call of Duty? No, but since I have both consoles, I'm going where the exclusive, content's coming first, or whatever version of the game has exclusive content. It's simple,
Yeah.
But it's not really that huge of a deal. I still, when you look at graphics of both games, whatever one has, if it has free games coming with it or it's coming with exclusive shit, that's where I'm going,
Yeah.
Do you agree with that or no?
Yeah, I can agree because I mean, you still have people that still, playing on the PlayStation 3 and 360. So if a person that is playing on those consoles, want to make a choice, it'll probably be, what? I think I'll go with, some people probably, I'm gonna stick with the PlayStation 4 and maybe somebody got the 360, like, you know what? I'm gonna go with the Xbox One because now it's backwards compatible. They giving me, you know what I'm saying, free games. You know what I'm saying? It's a smart move. You know what I'm saying? It's a smart move of what Microsoft did there. You know, they say they want to try to do, they want to try to do every game, make it backwards compatible. But I mean, it's just a smart move, you know, just to get those people off the old consoles onto the new ones.
This generation is playing out a lot like last generation, but it's in reverse. I think this generation, the PS4 is going to have an outstanding beginning of the generation till the halfway point, and I think, you never know. PS4 could just have a whole outstanding, success this whole generation. But I think it's going to play out like last generation, where the 360 was dominating and doing really good, and you had like the 360 just overall was great at the beginning of the generation, and then towards the halfway point, that's where Sony really started dropping these, bombs, these nice exclusives. I think that's how it's going to play out this generation. I think Sony's going to be like, Microsoft in the beginning generation. And I think Xbox might just go after that first party exclusives, and it just might be just the same way, but reversed. It's the opposing team. It's just, they switch places. Would you agree?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it's actually switched. You know, um, if Microsoft, play their cards right, and they want to do the exclusive first party deals, what I'm saying, that could really start moving, more units for Microsoft. Especially if they coming out with some good ones. What I'm saying, we already seen Scalebound, we already seen Crackdown 3, we already seen Quantum Break, how those titles are looking. So just imagine the other ones that we don't know about that's coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, 2016 is going to be a great year for gaming, I think, in my opinion. Would you agree?
Yeah, for both consoles. Oh yeah.
I think that's where we're going to start seeing some really good things from these consoles, and it's going to really start, the generation's going to really start taking off. And I think that'll be, the year where we really see a lot less of last generation. See, right now we're still at a point where a lot of these games are still coming to last generation. Once that whole last generation's over, and you see more of these games like Uncharted 4 and Scalebound, and what's some other ones that PlayStation's got coming next year? What's some other big ones? I can't think of.
Got Horizon coming next year.
Yeah, Horizon. Like, once these games start dropping, then we're going to see last generation's over. That's the thing that's really holding back the generation, is they're still continuing last generation because they want to get those console sales that, they want to keep making, because those consoles are still selling well,
Yeah.
A lot of people have not made the jump yet still. And I think these games like Horizon and Uncharted and, Uncharted 4, Quantum Break, all these games are going to make people jump. They're still on the fence of what console to get, or if they want to get both. That's still a factor last generation, and that's something that, in my opinion, is still hurting this generation, that them just carrying on last generation.
Well, I put it as this year, 2015, that's going to be the last of the PlayStation 3 and 360. This is the year you need to go ahead and just make up your mind, because I fairly believe it's not going to be too many games, especially like maybe big budget titles, coming to the 360 and PS3 next year. I highly doubt that they will be there. You probably get your games like maybe Just Dance and Dance Central and little indie games, but I think those big blockbuster titles, you're gonna have to make your switch. You're gonna have to make up your mind which one you're gonna get. You're gonna get both, or you're gonna get one or the other. You're gonna have to make up your mind when 2016 comes, because I think that's gonna be the end of the last generation consoles.
And one more thing I want to add about the backwards capability thing going on with Xbox One that I thought was a great move from Microsoft, which they did, which you know, with Xbox Live, when you when you have your Xbox Live subscription on the Xbox One, soon they'll be adding the Xbox 360 games that are given with gold, and you get the Xbox One game. I think the Xbox One games that come for gold, I think that's going to be great that you get both of them. What do you think about that versus PlayStation Plus that you're going to be voting on? Did you see the games that you're voting on? Like that's a whole other fucking conversation right there. But what's your opinion on that?
That's cool what Microsoft is doing with the with the Gold, Xbox Live Gold. I think that's a cool idea. I did not see the titles for the PlayStation Plus. I mean PlayStation Now, whatever it's called. I didn't see the list to vote on. But when I heard that Sony was going to do that, I was like, I don't believe it's going to be any good ass titles. Yeah, I just don't see Sony just like, all right, here go a list and here's the top 5 games you get to choose from, and all of them like big budget titles. Nah, it's gonna be some shitty titles in that. The majority of them gonna be shitty. You got to vote on.
Yeah, I looked. I don't know how. I don't know if that's what the games are going with that you're going to vote on, but they're not even memorable. The ones I've seen, I was like, holy shit, these are the ones that everybody's thinking. Oh, maybe you're going to be voting on some AAA titles or something. But it's basically you're just going to vote on their indie games, and then you're going to get the other ones at a discount, Which, I mean, to me, I hope they choose better games than that, but it is what it is. I think what Xbox is doing with the whole Xbox 360 games and the Xbox One games of gold, you get both of them, is great. I hope Sony fixes their games we vote on, because those games I've seen that we're going to vote on look fucking horrible. But it's what I expected. Thank you, Icy Rhythms or Fail to Listen, for watching the podcast, and King Grimpachi as always, Tech Rev from GE, Kenneth King, John Marks TV. I appreciate all you watching. This is just basically a Microsoft discussion, just like I did with the Sony one and Nintendo. I find it fair to do it on all three of the big three consoles. Trying to think of what else could we cover. What else did I want to talk about? Basically, is there anything else that we missed with Microsoft that you wanted to talk about, Old Dirty?
No, it's just since I had the Xbox One since like February, I've been enjoying it. You know what I'm saying? Despite videos I've seen and people I heard in party chats, talk about the Xbox One. I'm enjoying it. I don't see how they wasn't enjoying the games that was on it. Like, what is you looking for that's not on the Xbox One? Like, what is it that that you're looking for? I don't understand it, because I'm listening to these people before I brought it. I'm like, okay, why you say you don't like it again? You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't even making sense. You nitpicking, and I can nitpick about every damn console. You know what I'm saying? But it's not going to stop me from buying it. You know what I'm saying? Because you can pick about anything. You can nitpick about a car you brought or a car you looking at. You can nitpick about anything. But they were just going on. And when I brought it, I'm like, okay, this motherfucker remind me of fucking PlayStation. It does the same thing. You know what I'm saying? The games look the same. You still got to install on the hard drive, which nobody still can tell me why the hell we installing these games on the hard drive and we just can't play them off the disc. Nobody still can explain this to me.
I'm not a tech guy, and I always say that every video. I don't like to talk about stuff I don't know about. I'm not like one of them people that do that. But I guess it's, from what I hear, something to do with the DRM. That's why we couldn't do the whole just playing off the disc and it has to install. I wonder that too, because with the Wii U, you don't have to install the game, from what I remember.
No, you just played it.
Mm-hmm. And I've seen, like, I'm not a tech guy. I don't want to sit here and say, I don't like to talk about shit I don't know about, because I know how people get in the community when you say stuff like that.
So
Um,
if this was DRM, why didn't they just put a terabyte or two in the consoles and call it a day? You know, why would you put a 500 gig in there? And you knew that these games was going to be huge to install with patches and updates.
well, I guess it's cost of they have to keep the cost down for the console. I mean, one thing, like I said in previous videos, the one thing I've noticed out of the PS4 and Xbox One when it comes to hard drives, external hard drives are a lot cheaper than the internals. You know, that I've seen for the PS4 that you have to buy. That I look when I look on Amazon and stuff, because you can get like a 4 terabyte a lot cheaper than I can get for a 2 terabyte, or 2 terabytes about the same price as a 4 terabyte for the Xbox One. And so the Xbox One has the advantage right there until I guess they figure out how to use external hard drives or make it so you can on the PS4. You can use externals, but not for actually using it for your games, like storing your games and shit. I think you can like save data and stuff like that, but not store installing your games and all that shit. Like you said earlier too, with the installs of the games and how much space they take and patches. I mean, these hard drives get used up pretty damn fast, and that's something bad on both sides of each console, like the PS4 and Xbox One. Like these games, like Assassin's Creed Unity, how much it was to install that game, and then the patch that comes along with it. That's ridiculous. The Batman Arkham Knight, that took up a lot of my space on the PS4, especially with the season pass and everything. That's ridiculous. Like, a lot of people don't really think, these games, how big they are, 40 and 50 gigs or whatever, and then you have these fucking, season passes that take up a lot of space and patches. A 500 gig hard drive really ain't getting you very far this generation.
Nah,
and I'm stuck in the position where I have to, like, if I want to play a game that day, I'll have to remember the night before to delete shit and make space for it and then upload it. I have to, upload the damn game to play it. I mean, because I have a lot of games digital, on my PS4 and not a lot of space at all. Constantly having to delete games and stuff. So.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah, that's one thing this generation that I'm not happy with is the hard drive space. But I have noticed I could find an external hard drive a lot cheaper than an internal on the PS4. But that's one advantage the Xbox One has. Like the PS4 has many advantages. But I think this generation will be interesting. I think Microsoft will turn things around. I don't ever think they'll catch up to the PS4, Sony and the PS4. But I think they will earn their second place spot. It's a good secondary console in my opinion. I like the PS4 as my primary. This whole thing, like we were talking earlier with, if this game's going to PC, it's irrelevant. That shit needs to go. I think that's just like fanboy talk right there. Because if you're a console gamer, you're going to go where the game is on consoles. If I can get, like Rise that's on supposedly, it is not supposedly, it is on the PC. I'm going to get the console version if I want to play that game. I don't know why I said supposedly. But like right now I think like Sunset Overdrive, that's not on the PC, so you have to get an Xbox One to play that.
Right. And with that, like how many gamers, actually, have a PC? You know what I'm saying? That we, know on YouTube, outside of YouTube. You know what I'm saying? How many people that has a console and actually game on PC? I don't know anybody that game on PC. I hear a few people on YouTube that game on PC. So I mean, you're gonna go where if you do console, you're gonna go to that console, regardless if it's on PC or not, because you don't game on PC. You game on, on Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo. That's what you game on. So you're gonna go to those consoles. And another thing, I just want to put out there for the people in YouTube, if it's a console that you want or you thinking about getting, just go get it. Stop listening to these dumbass people on YouTube, that downgrade everything. no matter if it's from Nintendo to Microsoft to Sony. You know what I'm saying? When I hear people talk and I see their videos, I think they say stuff about other companies, man, and they have followers. I notice like people follow other people of what they say or of their opinion of another, console. Because when you ask them, hey, what do you think about this game on this con? Oh, that's dog shit. Like, what? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my fault. Yeah, that's right. You only got a PlayStation 4, so of course you would say anything on Microsoft or Nintendo is dog shit. You know what I'm saying? You had these people that never played the console in their life. You know what I'm saying? Got more experience and know everything about the console than the person that owns the damn console. That's what kills me. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you want the console, go get it. You know what I'm saying? I can care less what anybody on YouTube have to say because at the end of the day, I'm never going to meet you.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't care if I want to go get it. If I didn't have a Wii U and I say, "Hey Dave, you know what? Tomorrow, man, I'm going to pick me up a Wii U." Why should you get mad?
Yeah, I can't hate on anybody that wants to get a Wii U. I can advise you my problems that I had with the Wii U, and you can go from there. But if somebody really wants a Wii U and they really want to play Splatoon or Super Smash Brothers U or Mario Kart 8, I mean, that's their opinion. I can't
Yeah,
hate on them for wanting to play them games because that's basically where you have to go to play them games, you know?
but you literally have people.
Hachi, thanks for joining.
Yo, what's up, guys?
Yeah, we're basically just... Oh, go what you're saying, Old Dirty?
Yeah, it's like you see people on here, man, that just you know bash another console. You know, I don't know if it's I don't really know like the reason to bash another console because at the end of the day we all play video games. You know what I'm saying? And then you have people that follow certain people that agree with stupid shit that people say. So if you want an Xbox One and you don't want people on YouTube to be like, oh man, why you gonna get that dog shit of a console? It don't got no games. It don't do this. It don't do that. Fuck these people. Get what you want, and you know you're going to enjoy it. Because all the shit I heard about the Xbox One before I got mine, all that shit went out the window. I'm enjoying the Xbox One. I'm enjoying my PlayStation 4, and I'm enjoying my Wii U.
Well, basically, your answer to your question, why people with the whole, downing consoles and all that stuff, I think they do that and they go to these people that cheer one console up or whatever, it's to, like, justify their purchase. Like, they rather, if say they only have a PS4, they're going to love to hear, and they don't have money for an Xbox One, they're going to love going to a channel that's going to cheer the PS4 up and make them feel good about their purchase. A lot with the Nintendo fan base with the Wii U, they would run to that channel and hear all this great shit about Nintendo and the Wii U. You go to other channels and you're hearing Nintendo's just playing out horrible with the Wii U. I think it's like the whole console war to me is like irrelevant. I have reasons why I don't want a Wii U. I've owned one for about 3 years. I don't want it no more. I was tired of waiting for games. Now on PS4 and Xbox One, I got games. Third party support's there. Each console has games the other one doesn't have, and I'm happy with that. If Nintendo could have kept pumping out games, other than every 8 months, 6 to 8 months, I would have stayed with the Wii U. But they don't support that console. So I have a legitimate reason why I don't like the Wii U. But there's some people that have never owned a Wii U, have never owned an Xbox One, have never owned a PS4 that will sit there and call the console dog shit. Blah blah blah. It sucks. My console's better than yours, and that's just the console war fanboy I see out there. Just cheering, following the cheerleaders for their console that they love so much, and it gets old after a while. The console
And I'm
war.
gonna be honest with you, Old Dirty. Like my entire time of being both on like PC, well, not so much Nintendo because they don't really have like a chat system really, but PlayStation, Xbox, PC. If anything, I hear more of the PlayStation guys kind of talking about the competition than anybody else. Like you in the Xbox chat, they just talking about whatever the hell they playing most of the time. You get in the PlayStation chat, it's Microsoft sales, it's this
Yep.
game is not exclusive anymore. You know,
Yeah,
and you
I
know,
noticed that. I agree.
and then when they get mad when you say this, hey, you guys, what you guys playing right now? What you mean? What are you playing? Nothing. Oh, okay.
Well,
Guess
there's
what you
people
playing?
that bought the PS. I know people that bought PS4 just to sit in party chat and just talk about console sales.
Oh, they
So,
could have.
no.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically.
They could have bought a Vita. That would have been like $200 less. They could have
I
did the
mean,
same
that's a lot
thing.
of money to spend for party chat that you're gonna just sit there and go on about the console war. It's like almost like people that bought a PS4 just are happy like that the PS4 is winning and they're just excited in party chat. But don't you want the console? Don't you want to see games from both end? I mean, I'd like to see every company get games and everything. I mean, that's like people that we call, like on sports, like front runners. You know, they jump on the opposing team that's winning, a front runner. That's why I see some of these people as that just go buy a PS4 just to cheer it up. And half these motherfuckers in party chat on PS4 aren't, like you said, aren't even fucking playing games. You don't see no game logo next to their game. They're just in party chat talking about console wars and sales and resolutions. And half these motherfuckers that go on about these games, like Metal Gear, what it's running at, or any of these games, aren't even planning on buying the fucking game. Same thing with Call of Duty. They're like, oh, PS4's got the exclusive Call of Duty DLC. Are you buying Call of Duty? No. You know, I don't understand that. Something else.
Yeah, these people here on YouTube, man, like I put it as, I see videos and they just, down a console and they look for articles every day to say something about a console. These motherfuckers be all the way in Siberia websites looking for shit. You know what I'm saying? And then at the end of the day, you own the console. If you hate the console that much and you hate the direction that they going, why are you keeping it? Get rid of it. Dave got rid of his because Dave said he was tired of waiting on games. He can't wait on first party games. He's not getting third party games. So why should he wait, damn near 5 months for one exclusive first party game when he can go to the PlayStation 4, and get variety of games? That I understand. I can understand that. And even though I have all three consoles, I still got to wait for certain games for the Wii U. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not a diehard Nintendo fan like I was back in the Super Nintendo days. I could go without Nintendo. Now, I can understand some people that love Nintendo and pretty much they love everything Nintendo brings, and that's all they want. And they'll sit there and wait with a Wii U for these games like Splatoon to take fucking 8 months to come out. They don't care. Like, if you weren't looking forward to Splatoon, what have you been playing on the Wii U? Like, in these past, like, 6 to 8 months, there's nothing. There's been nothing on the Wii U. This past year, you had Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, Mario and Donkey Kong Tipping Stars, Splatoon. But what was out before Splatoon? Like, what was the big game before that? I can't even remember. That's how bad it's been,
Kirby? Was it Kirby?
Huh?
Yeah, might have been, unless you want to count Shovel Knight, which is an indie game.
No, Shovel Knight came out a while ago before that. I'm talking about, like, you had Kirby, but I don't think Kirby to me, I mean, I guess it's a big game, but to me it isn't really. I never was into Kirby, but I guess that's what you gotta look forward to, Kirby. Or Mario Party 10 was another big game before Splatoon,
Yeah.
Dave, can you send Icy the link again? Because he can't.
Oh, I sent him an invite.
Yeah, he said he messed it up or something.
Okay.
But I mean, like, a lot of these guys don't even know, like, not to get on the PlayStation dudes, but they don't even know, like, the history. Neither do the Xbox guys. Like, to this day, Sony doesn't even have, like, that big character yet. Like, everybody knows, not every single last human being, but people know who Master Chief is if you show it to them. People know who Mario is. You're not going to show someone a picture of Joel and they're going to like, oh, that's Joel from The Last of Us. No one's going to know what the hell that is.
Kratos could be one, or it could have been Crash Bandicoot at one time. Because I think Crash Bandicoot was almost their mascot at one time. It seemed like
And see
Kratos.
that's. Oh, go ahead.
Kratos possibly would be the second runner-up in my mind if they ever had a mascot, but I do agree they don't have a mascot.
Like that's just the mentality of PlayStation. Like, how could a property they never owned be the biggest thing associated with them?
Mm-hmm.
They never owned the rights to Crash ever.
Maybe from Twisted Metal. If Twisted Metal was still big.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, Sony has characters. No one's denying that. It's just like at this point, the only character I could see that could represent them is I don't know, like maybe Drake, but even that's a stretch.
Uncharted, I don't see Uncharted. Uncharted is big to the hardcore audience, but a lot of my friends, they don't like that. Just casually play Call of Duty and stuff. They have no clue what Uncharted is, believe it or not. I would say like Crash Bandicoot was their closest thing to ever being a mascot for Sony, and then Crash Bandicoot, is no more really. So
yeah, I don't think Sony ever have that mascot. It's basically it's too late. Like when people think of Nintendo, the first thing popping in their head Mario. Or when they think of Mario, first thing popping in their head is Nintendo. When you think of Sega, you think of Sonic. That was their mascot. Halo, Master Chief was branded with the original Xbox. So I can see Master Chief. But with Microsoft, with Sony, I really don't see a character. I really don't even see Kratos. I could put Kratos there, but I really don't, because 20 years from now, when you say, when you say Sony, PlayStation, nobody's going to say Kratos, 20 years from now. 20 years from now, people will still say Mario. People will still say, Sonic if you say Genesis 20 years from now.
You know what's funny? When I think of PlayStation, the first thing that comes to my mind is just the DualShock controller. That's about it. Like, that's the only thing that, if anything recognizable from PlayStation, is its controller, because it's just been the same controller for years. But they don't really have a mascot. They don't have a face. Do they need one? Maybe not. But I mean, a lot of people get on Microsoft for the whole thing they did last generation with the third party. But see, that's been Sony's strategy since Sony came into the game, and all Microsoft did was say, we want that same treatment. And they got it with the 360 generation. But see, a lot of people don't know the history. Sony did the same thing Microsoft did in the PlayStation 2 generation.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're back in, now the PS4 isn't the PS2, but it's the PS2 in the sense of third party is heavily supporting it, they're heavily advertising for it, and they're getting the better deals or more deals. And Microsoft is kind of back to being the original Xbox position, where they're trying to focus on enticing you with games that you can't get anywhere else, or whatever the case may be. But, for Microsoft and Sony, their goal is always going to be to have the control over the third party. They're going to just keep trading that battle back and forth. Because that's all they want to do. They just want to be able to sit back, sell their console, let everybody else make games. And, they make their games too, but, they want to be able to just sit back and count that money. Wait for them to make the games, put out the experiences. And then we drop our exclusives whenever, we'll have more time to drop our exclusives because, we got the third-party games, and then we may have some third-party exclusives. We could take our time and do whatever we want to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. That's for sure. How's it going, Icy Rhythms?
It's going pretty well.
Listen.
It's going pretty well. I just wanted to say,
yes.
like some of the people that were in your comment section, like I don't know how long they've been gaming, but they really need to learn their history. Like Sony has never really been like super into first party stuff. Like the most successful PlayStation consoles, the PS1 and the PS2 and the PS4 seems to be headed, kind of like down a similar path. Like those are success because of the third parties, not because like Sony has had these like mega, ultra selling games outside of Gran Turismo. of course, which is like their flagship title. But outside of that, like Sony's never really had that like go-to like first-party game. Like they've always, just kind of been on the success of whatever the third parties are willing to give them, whether it's exclusives or like some sort of like exclusive DLC for a multi-platform game or whatever the case may be. Like Sony's, like they've built their success on third parties, and Microsoft, same thing. And then people will pretend that Microsoft is the only one that's ever done it, when that is just not true. Like that is not how it happened. Do your research, learn the history. Like I said, I don't think these people have been gaming very long. It seems like they've been gaming since maybe like late gen PS2, early PS3.
I'd say PS3, a lot of them.
I think a lot of them PS3, because a lot of them say, Sony's always been about the exclusives. The only generation they kind of were was the 3, and that was it. Because if you think about their exclusive games that they owned in, PlayStation 1 era, you're talking about Ape Escape, Parappa the Rapper, Medieval, games that you never hear anyone talk about, ever. Like, those, no one's going to talk about those games because they don't remember those games. They remember Crash, Spyro the Dragon, Metal Gear, which wasn't exclusive. They remember, Mortal Kombat and stuff like that. A lot of the games that make PlayStation, like Grand Theft Auto, heavily associated with PlayStation. Final Fantasy, even though Final Fantasy games existed before the PlayStation ever existed.
There's some people that actually believe Final Fantasy VII is the first Final Fantasy game.
That was probably their first, but I mean, obviously the 7 implies that it clearly could have been.
Yeah, you would think with it saying 7 on the cover of the game, they would know, but some people, no, man.
I don't know. Like those games, like think of all the games that made the PlayStation great. Out of all the games you'll think of, I guarantee like barely any of them are Sony's games.
I think of Gran Turismo, I think of God of War, and I think about Crash as far as like the first party stuff. And outside of that, like when I think of PlayStation, I think of all the great third party exclusives. I don't think about the first party stuff with PlayStation. Never have.
What was Twisted Metal? What was that? That's
theirs. But
that's theirs.
But you gotta understand, like, to us, people who played that game special. To the mass majority of people, that their first Twisted Metal was the Twisted Metal on the PS3. Twisted Metal is whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't understand why Twisted Metal was cool because they didn't play it back in those days. And even then, Twisted Metal was not this big game.
No, it wasn't. It's not like
everybody was talking about. It was just
not.
It was that one game you went over your friend's house and said, "What's that game with the truck and the flame over it?" Like, what was that we were playing last week? Oh, that's Twisted Metal,
See, I grew up on Twisted Metal. I like that. I like Siphon Filter. A lot of people don't really know a lot of them games from the past. Now, a lot of people don't even know who Crash Bandicoot is because he isn't around a lot. I think a lot of these gamers here on YouTube started out in PS like last generation.
They did, yeah.
I totally agree. I've been saying that for the longest. I said the majority of these gamers, man, come from either the PlayStation 2 era or especially PlayStation 3.
Like Sony has a lot of in-house first-party studios. We all know that. Like they spend a lot of money on that stuff. But like those of us that have been around for a while, we know Sony for the third-party games, like those amazing games. I mean, yeah, they were exclusives, but Sony didn't develop those in-house. Like that's not how that went down. Like these people, they don't do any research, man. Like it's getting disgusting, like reading the titles of some of these videos and these channels that they have never changed. They've never tried to like go in any sort of like positive direction. It's just a bunch of garbage, a bunch of BS.
Like a lot of people think Metal Gear Solid like was the first Metal Gear game ever made, and they think that Metal Gear Solid was even exclusive to the PlayStation, and it was not, but they don't know these things. So like a lot of people would cringe if they knew that Metal Gear Solid was actually on the PC, and it was actually not ported, but what do you call it? Like I guess produced. Like whoever ships the copies and makes the copies. It was done by Microsoft. That would probably blow their minds because they don't know that game existed on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think the only exclusive Metal Gear game that remained exclusive to this day is probably the fourth one. And let's be honest, I wouldn't be shocked if that game came to like next generation on PS4 and Xbox One.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, you know what I thought was weird? Like, lately, the new Metal Gear's coming out, Metal Gear 5, Phantom Pain. And I've been asking people, what are you getting Metal Gear on? They're like, I'm not really looking forward to that game. I never was into that. How are you never into fucking Metal Gear? Like, how could that game not be, how could you not be looking forward to the new Metal Gear? And I remember always playing Metal Gear, you know, and a lot of these people now really don't, if it's like how Old Dirty was talking earlier, if it's not a gun where you're going in, a game where you're going in guns blazing, they don't want nothing to do with it. Metal Gear has more stealth, and I notice a lot of people here on YouTube don't like those type of games, like the old Splinter Cells compared to the newer one, you know?
I think another thing too, Dave, with that you were saying about Metal Gear with MGS5, I think it looks absolutely amazing, and I think it's going to be a great game. But I think if we're talking, if we take it back to Metal Gear Solid 4, those people, some of those people that you've talked to about it, like they're probably bitter because it's not exclusive this time. Like they feel like it's been ruined or tainted somehow, and it's also on Xbox and PC or something. I think they're just bitter, man. Like they're just mad about it.
Well, like you brought that up just now, like if a game's not exclusive now, it doesn't matter. Like I noticed if a game's on the Xbox One and it's going to PC, it's irrelevant. It don't matter. You know, a game has to be exclusive for it to even be worth talking about. I know
it could be Superman 64 quality, but as long as it was exclusive, it would be amazing.
I mean, I never understood that. Like I understand why certain people say, you know, exclusives are important. But they're important to me for a different reason. They're not important because I'm hoping a game just remains on one platform, because I honestly just don't care. If it's on more platforms, that means more people can play the game I enjoy. That's better. So other people can understand why I like a certain game or why I don't or whatever. You know, why would I want to hinder other gamers from playing something else? But it's only important because of the fact that when you do look at a platform, you know, normally the games that you can only get on that platform is a reason to buy the machine. But see, a lot of people will flip out. Like, that's why people were like mad that Tomb Raider wasn't actually an exclusive for Xbox One. Why does it matter? Like, you know, don't you want Tomb Raider? Like some people that wanted the game don't want it anymore. That doesn't make sense because it's not exclusive.
It was going exclusive to the Xbox One. They can cheer that up. Now they can't cheer it up because it's going to other, you know, it's going to PS4, and I believe it's going to PC. Well, it was always going to PC, wasn't it?
I think they always kind of hinted that. I mean, well, that to me just kind of sounds like you never cared about the game. You just cared about the fact you could brag that it wasn't on the competition, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all it is, bragging rights. That's all it basically is. But, you know, lately all I hear is a lot of negativity towards a lot of these companies, you know, and it kind of gets old after a while. Unless you have a real reason to be negative about something. It seems like some people, like, if you look at Gamescom and Microsoft's latest conference, how could you find a bunch of negative shit out of that, like, and not find one thing positive? Like, but people are doing it. There's more negative news I see from a lot of people than positive. You know, people dig the negative stuff over the positive. I don't know. I like owning all consoles. You know, that's how I've always been. My only issue this generation is the Wii U. I'm hoping the NX is a lot better.
The conference was good. It wasn't, in my opinion, mind-blowing. Like, kind of like the footage I saw after the conference where they kind of went deeper. Like, the Crackdown thing was cool with the destruction and all that. You know, so it was a good conference. I didn't really see anything wrong with it. But, you know, some people will make stuff up just to have something to say.
Yeah, it's just all negative stuff. You know, I know a lot of people are riding on that power of the cloud with the Crackdown. I don't know anything about the power of the cloud. That could happen. Like David Maddox said, it could be, you know, Microsoft are geniuses. They could find ways to do that, but he don't feel that it's going to be it's going to be possible. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. You know, that's all.
Dave, can I touch on one of the comments in your comment section? There's a guy saying, and I've seen this a lot, he's not the only one, I'm not knocking on him, but I just want to give my take on people that say this. When people say if the consoles had less and less exclusives, there'd be no reason to own a console. That is not true, because first of all, like yourself, Dave, some people don't care about PC. They don't want to game on PC. They don't want to build a PC. They don't give a crap about PC. Some people prefer certain brands. They prefer Sony. They prefer Nintendo or Microsoft. Some people prefer they have different controller preferences. Some people prefer PSN. Some people prefer Xbox Live. I mean, there would be other reasons. Like, let's not pretend it's all just the games. These consoles, unfortunately, they're not just gaming machines anymore. They do a lot more than play games. You just got to keep it real, man. You got to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Well,
go ahead.
The whole thing with the Xbox One, I noticed, and when it had all these features, people were like, I don't want a cable box. I don't want this. I don't want that. I want a gaming machine. Then why are you walking around with a fucking cell phone that's a smartphone? You should be walking around with a flip phone.
Exactly.
You know, I guarantee most of you people own smartphones and not flip phones that are saying that. You know, that's just my thoughts on it. I don't see how you wouldn't want your device to do more things.
I mean, it's no different than going out there and, like, you know, there are people who will only buy a Sony Blu-ray player. Does that mean the Sony Blu-ray player is the only good one on the market? No, it's just because they like Sony. You know, all the Blu-ray players, they read Blu-rays and they play DVDs, so it doesn't really matter in the end. Like, some are obviously, you know, if you're buying one from Wakasaki that you never heard of this company before, it could break on you. But other than that, most of the companies making them, it's fine. So if the consoles were to ever go, I wish gaming would become this. I made a video about this. There is no exclusives. There would be no exclusive games whatsoever. Every platform played every game, and that would be cool, because then, I mean, number one, even Microsoft said when they put their exclusive games on PC, they make more money. So if you love these companies as much as you say, and you care about sales as much as you say, wouldn't you want PlayStation, Nintendo, and Microsoft to make more money?
Apache.
What'd you say?
All I caught was if you love these companies as much as you say, and that I didn't catch the rest of that.
Oh, I said if you love these companies as much as you say and you care about their sales and figures, wouldn't you want them to make more money?
These gamers don't care about, like, these companies staying in business. As long as they can have their little console war and have ammo to throw at each other, then they don't give a shit about that.
Well, I hear, like, people always bitching about Ubisoft and EA and saying, oh, fuck EA, fuck Ubisoft, they need to go. Do you really think, like, you want Ubisoft and EA to disappear? Because if they disappear, you're going to see a lot of great games gone, because they're really the ones that are pumping them out. Like, I don't get all the hate for third party, because third party, in my opinion, is the industry right now. Like, just to be honest, you know, I don't understand how, like, it seems to me a lot of these people want, you know, EA and Ubisoft and Bethesda just to disappear, you know, and I don't understand that at all. But
yeah, we'd have to wait around even longer for games then, because exclusives seem to take longer than a lot of the multi-platform stuff. So, like, I don't want that. Like, some of the things EA and Ubisoft do, to name a couple, it's like shady business practices. It is, but, like, they do have some good games. Like, you cannot deny that. Like, they have some solid games under their umbrella. So I don't want to see them go away. I would just like to see them do better by the consumer, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, people act like you have to buy these season passes and, you know, expansions and all that. You're not forced to buy them. Like, they see this, like, okay, for example, Batman Arkham Knight, it comes with this $40 season pass. Most of these motherfuckers bitching about this $40 season pass, A, aren't even buying the game, and B, may buy the game, but pretty much not buying the season pass. So those are the ones usually bitching about it. You don't got to buy these season passes. And I will say this, a lot of these single-player DLCs lately aren't worth buying the season pass. You can buy the game for $60 and have a great time with it and not need the season pass. Now, when it comes to multiplayer, like, you know, unless you're, like, playing Call of Duty and you want those map packs, that's when I see maybe the season pass is worth it, or Battlefield, the premium's worth it. But a lot of these season passes, like, I bought the Batman Arkham Knight season pass, and right now we just got the Red Hood DLC, which was a pre-order bonus. They actually gave it to everybody, and that was the shortest DLC I've ever played. It was like half-hour long. It was pretty damn short.
They always, that's why when everybody was bitching about it, I said, look, I always get the Batman games when they come out with the Game of the Year version because it gives you all the DLC in the first place. The DLC is always extremely short and really insignificant. Like that Harley Quinn in Arkham City, I thought that was going to be something. But it was like 30 minutes.
Well, if you add it all together, then maybe it's long. But each DLC that's come out for Batman, I'm gonna be honest. A Family Matter, I think it's called, a Matter in the Family, or whatever they called the Batgirl DLC. That was about the longest one, which was like maybe an hour or an hour and 20 minutes, maybe pushing it. The Under the Hood, the Red Hood missions, that was the shortest one I played. Harley Quinn was actually longer than that. But in my opinion, season passes for these single-player games are not worth it. You know, you don't have to buy them. I don't think it's going to hurt your gaming experience if you don't buy the season pass. Now, there are some good ones, like Evil Within. They said the season pass, that was good, you know. But they're mostly, like Grimpachi says, they're short. They're not long. So, I mean, you don't have to buy these season passes if you buy the game. You know, I think the games that really need the season passes are going to be like Star Wars Battlefront, because you'll probably want the new maps, or Rainbow Six Siege, Call of Duty, Black Ops 3. Those are worth it to buy the season pass. Mortal Kombat, I actually like the characters that they gave. I thought Tremor's really cool. I like Predator. The ones I thought weren't going to be good were actually good, like Tanya and Tremor. But that's in my honest opinion, you don't need the the combat pack for that. But people are acting like they got to buy this with the game. I don't understand that. It don't make much sense to me. Like, and it's just like reasons for, like, you ever notice a lot of these gamers on here are always looking at reasons not to buy something? Like, I don't know. Like, a lot of these games, mainly it's a season pass. If it's expensive, you don't have to buy the season pass. Or the game may not come with some other, like the whole thing with Splinter Cell Blacklist with the Wii U, it didn't have local co-op, I believe it was, or not local, local something. That don't hurt the game at all. You know, that didn't have local, what was it, Grimpachi or Old Dirty, or if you even know Icy Rhythms, Splinter Cell for the Wii U version.
It has split screen, I think.
Yeah, that ain't gonna hurt your fucking gaming experience. I mean, that ain't.
I mean, a lot of these people weren't even going to play split screen, but they didn't buy it just because in the first place. You know, just because they didn't have it.
Now to be fair, like with Sniper Elite V2 or whatever it was called for the Wii U, that was missing like half the game. I'll give somebody that if they don't want to buy, they didn't want to spend the full amount of money that they were asking for that game. I understand that, but majority of people bitching about stuff aren't intending on buying the game anyways. You know, it's just some reason for them not to buy the game. That's all it is.
I think you're right too. I'm in full agreement with you. I think people make a lot of excuses as to why they're not going to buy something. Just don't make excuses. Just say, I don't like this shit. I don't like Microsoft, or I don't like the Xbox, or I don't like Nintendo, I don't like the Wii U, I don't like Sony. Like, just say how you really feel. Don't make excuses. Just say, I don't want it. Like, it's that simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have a lot of excuses of each why they're not getting this console or that console. I mean, I find it very hard to believe that if you didn't buy a Wii U or Xbox One or PS4, that there isn't at least one game on there or a few games that you want to play that the other consoles don't have. I don't understand that. I mean, if you consider yourself as a gamer, you know, gamers want to play all kinds of games. I didn't know you have to just play on one platform.
Well, Dave, it's because a lot of people, they're quote unquote not gamers. What they are is, it's gaming is becoming the norm. It's becoming something everybody does, and normally when that happens, people tend to, you know, adopt certain natures and pick certain sides. I never understood why a gamer has to pick a side and they got to be this certain type of gamer and they can't like this and that. But, you know, that's typical for anybody that's coming into something new. You come into sports, normally whatever first team you end up liking, you immediately, for some reason, adopt the hatred for the opposing team. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're a sports fan, you know there's history and reasons why you don't like the other team. They don't even know those reasons. They just don't like them just because they think they're not supposed to. And a lot of these guys, when you ask them, yo, like, all right, cool, you don't like Microsoft, you don't like Xbox, and you love PlayStation so much. I'm not even going to ask you why you don't like Microsoft, because I know you can tell me a bunch of things that I hear all the time. But why do you like PlayStation? and it's just blanks. They don't have any reason. They don't have a real reason, because they'll say it's because of a game, and then you be like, oh, this game, you played that game? No. Oh, so you're telling me you love this console to the point you hate another one over a game you never touched? That doesn't make sense.
I see people buying Call of Duty Black Ops 3, like pre-ordering it, that have never played. I've never seen them once on my friends' list playing Call of Duty. Now all of a sudden, since Call of Duty's got this exclusive DLC, they're a big Call of Duty person now, and they're going to get Black Ops 3 for zombies or whatever, you know. And I was like, well, where were you when Advanced Warfare, Ghost, or Black Ops 2, or any of the rest of them were out? Oh, I always liked Call of Duty. You know, I liked it for the zombies. I was like, well, Advanced Warfare's got zombies. Oh, I don't like those zombies. You know, I find it funny, like some of these people here on the site. I mean, I don't ever sit here on videos and say I'm this hardcore gamer. I just like gaming. I've always enjoyed gaming. I think any of us in here that like to talk about gaming this much and go on about gaming, you're hardcore to a certain extent. But I mean, I know people. I mean, I don't know how old you play exactly, but I know like people I talk to, like Wolfla. That guy plays some damn games, or RXL. You know, you look at his trophy list; it's insane. I don't have no crazy trophy list, but I play games. You know, when you look at some people's like trophies list and you see them all at like 1% all their games, like, you know, and they're on here making video after video. I mean, those are people who just like to talk about gaming, in my opinion.
I was just going to say that these are the frauds that you're talking about, that they love talking about games and getting into these fake console wars, but they don't play games. They love talking about them. They love to pretend like they know what they're talking about, but they don't play any games.
Well, they found an easy outlet to make friends, I think. I think they found a way. They seen a group of people, you know, talking and get along with them. And they seen, oh, well, I can go buy a console and I can go put up a game. I can go put the beginning of a game up with some gameplay. Like, you ever notice a lot of these people that just talk about video games? You look at their gameplay, and it's like the beginning of the game of every game they play. The footage of. I've noticed that. I mean, you don't have to be a trophy hunter to be a gamer. Like, I'm old school. I like to get on there, usually play the game on hard or normal, and just beat the game and call it a day. I mean, I get the trophies along the way, but somebody looks for a platinum trophy, that's fine. I don't mind somebody getting their money's worth out of their game. I like to get on to the next game, but I like to finish my games. I know some people just play half the game and that's it, or a quarter of the game and they're over with it, you know. But they're the ones with the biggest mouths around here saying how much of a big gamer they are, you know.
Yeah, majority of these people, man, I come to conclusion, man, on YouTube, man, is they just all talk.
Mm-hmm.
When you have to find articles to, you know, downplay Microsoft every chance you get, but you own the console, you know what, man? Like, go sit down somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, really go sit down somewhere. We all have our, you know, our difference between, you know, each console. Don't get me wrong, because I can tell you some stuff about Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. But at the end of the day, I like gaming on it. But I'm not sitting to go there and try to find every fucking article, you know, from here to Timbuktu just to say something bad about Sony or to say something bad about Microsoft or Nintendo. I'm not sitting to do it. I'm just not going to do it. And you got people that follow these people that never played these fucking consoles in their life. And don't tell me you played the console before because you went to Target and played on it for 15 minutes while you was walking around, you know, shopping for some t-shirts or some shit. No, you got to have that console in your home, you know what I'm saying, and you done spent some quality time with it. Like if it was your bitch, basically. You know what I'm saying? Because I heard a lot of people in party chats on PlayStation dogging the Xbox One before I got mine.
I'm gonna tell you something. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Dirty, go ahead. I didn't know you.
No, I mean they just dogging the Xbox One, and then when I get it, I see a whole different console. I'm seeing a console like, you know, games I'm enjoying playing on the console. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying the bad shit. When I went to go buy that Xbox One, the guy asked me. He said, "What you want?" I was like, "I want to get an Xbox." No, I was getting a PlayStation 4. That's what I was getting. And the guy was like, "Oh man, you made a good choice." This was just a regular customer. The guy went in the back to get the PlayStation, and the guy that was sitting next to him was like, "Oh man, that's a good choice, man." He was like, "Man, you're gonna love the PlayStation." I'm like, "Oh okay." I was like, "Cool." I was like, "Well, I was just trying to decide which one I wanted first, you know, this or the Xbox One." "Oh man, don't touch that Xbox One. Don't get that, man. That game, that's shit, man. Don't even bother with it." I'm like, "Really?" He was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, so you got one?" "No." "What the fuck are you talking about, you?"
I think one of the funniest things I've ever heard, right? Oh yeah. Well, you're here, so I don't have to shout you out. But thanks, Icy, because I was asking him which controller I should get. I was getting a new controller for my PC, and I'm getting the Xbox One controller, and it's a great controller. And it's funny because I used the Xbox One controller before for a very limited time just to play some Dead Rising 3, right? And I didn't use it enough to get a true judgment of it. And I remember talking to this guy, and he was like, PlayStation guy. He didn't really play any games or anything, but he would always be in party chat. And he said, "Yeah, I played the Xbox today." I said, "Oh yeah." He said, "Yeah, I went to GameStop and I played it." I said, "Okay." I said, tell me how I felt or whatever." He was like, "Man, the controller was shit. The analog sticks were all, loose, and the buttons felt like sticky, and the Xbox One controller, the quality is just horrible." And I'm like, and I asked him that day, I said, "Can you really compare like a controller that's been used by the public to like an actual like a controller you'll get and use for yourself?" Because I'm trying to tell you, it's ass, man, it's shit. And what he wasn't understanding, which I think he did, but he was just trying to make it look bad. I was like, you can't say the controller sucks. You're using a controller that any Joe Blow can come in and just use. There's probably kids in there chewing on the motherfucker. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but anything to make it look bad. I never understood that. Like, it's just real weird. And I know some Xbox dudes that do it to PlayStation. They'll say the PlayStation sucks and give you all these stupid reasons why that sucks for no reason.
You know why they do that, Grim? I figured it out. They do that because it's certain people on YouTube that they watch, and that person influenced them on negativity of the other consoles. So if I like watching, what I'm saying, Icy, and he's bad mouthing, what I'm saying, PlayStation, then I'm gonna be like, you know what? I don't like PlayStation either. It's Xbox all the way. You know what I'm saying? If I'm keep going, watching Icy videos, then I'm gonna get into the same mindset is I don't like PlayStation. And when I do get a chance to play it, oh man, the game they had, man, the game looked shitty. The quality of the game, man, it was glitchy. The control, man, it was garbage. It was garbage. And that's what majority of these people, well, I ain't gonna even call them gamers. Majority of these people on YouTube, that's exactly who they follow. Never played these consoles in their life. They only got one console and probably can only own one console, and they're going to talk bad about the other one because who they watching talk bad about the other because that's all they can afford. So they want their console to be number one. They want to ante up the console of their choice that they made that choice to buy. So they want to say something bad about the other two. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I look at it. Every time I watch videos, I'm like, yeah, you ain't no gamer. You ain't no gamer. You ain't no gamer. You probably was a gamer and left for about 5 years and came back. So
another thing I see too, which is like completely retarded, it might even be like worse than that. Definitely on the level with that is these people that they'll go and like follow and subscribe or whatever to these people that make garbage content only because the person is saying stuff about someone that they already don't like. Like, I don't know, just as an example, someone doesn't like Crap Gamer, but they're going to go and follow this other guy that also doesn't like Crap Gamer, but this guy makes garbage content. Like, it's like worse content than Crap Gamer. Like, stuff like that is stupid. Like, these are just personalities on the internet. What the hell are you people doing? These guys aren't even gamers. You shouldn't be following these people. You shouldn't be listening to what they're saying and the propaganda that they're spewing. Like, it's like this community is messed up big time.
You got people subscribing to people just because they hate the opposing team. And that I've seen that a lot here on YouTube. They just follow somebody. You're like, how the fuck would they follow this person? But then you look at the comment sections, and you see what's going on there, then you know exactly why they're doing it. They're just cheering up somebody because he's on the opposing side that they hate, you know. So I don't know. It's just YouTube and how it works. I've tried to understand it, and you get an idea of everything that's going on. At the same time, it's hard to understand it all too. But basically, unless you guys have anything else to add, one thing I do want to add, to get the full experience to anything, I think with the I think it was Old Dirty and Grimpachi was talking about the trying a game out, you know, at Best Buy, a game system, or GameStop. You have to have the console in your house to really, you know, and to get the full understanding of it. You can't sit there and play something for like 5-10 minutes and get a full understanding of it. In your own home, that's where you can really tell if you like something or not, in my opinion. You know, because you're not going to be able to try out all the features online in the fucking game store, or how it plays online versus the other console, because you can't play online gaming at fucking Best Buy. It's basically just a demo. So, but thank you, King Grimpachi, for joining the podcast as always.
No problem.
Thank you, Failed to Listen, which is Icy Rhythms. Thank you for joining, man, again. Hope you come back again.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Cool. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. And thank you, Old Dirty 33, as always.
No problem, Dave.
More videos to come in podcasts. Later, guys.